Hey guys, Daniel Faust with War Hero to Superhero, helping military veterans and first responders transform their lives from the bedroom to the boardroom. I am your host, Daniel Faust, at least one of them. Started this a little early today just because we got a long day ahead of us and we're hoping to go over and serve as many of you as possible. So basically, we are trying to get more of you guys television shows. So if you're not seeing us live start next week, it's because we're serving you guys to get you to your own live digital TV. So if you're interested more about that, please go over and send me a message. But that's not today's message, right? Our message is about going over and serving you guys from the bedroom to the boardroom. And this month, this week, we are in the living room once again because we finally made it to December. It's December 10th, 15 days away from Christmas. Christmas season is upon us, right? And what are you thinking about when you're not tired and exhausted from work? Lights and parties and shopping and the food and family and friends. But the holiday struggles still come around. Doesn't matter if it's COVID Christmas or regular Christmas, right? Even I feel it right now. A little overbooked, a little overspent, a little overwhelmed, right? Well, for this time in this season, what we're talking about today in the living room is that I know, so do I, and I understand this. I know you guys want to connect with your loved ones. So I wanted to give you some strategies I pulled up from upworthy.com. They were inspired from there to connect with your loved ones, especially our military that is deployed, because we want you to be just as much connected physically as you are geographically. COVID and deployments have the same similar thing, right? We go away to go over and to do a mission. For our mission as veterans and first responders is to go over and to stay away from certain people to keep them healthy. When we go over and deploy, we're keeping the world physically healthy from the people that don't need to come in. While we go over and we isolate away from the enemy, which is COVID. In the military world, we go over and go out for you, so you stay isolated and away from the real physical enemy. But with that said, no matter if it's a COVID Christmas or a deployment Christmas for you, we want you to connect with your loved ones this holiday season. So even if you're miles or thousands of miles apart. So here's some of the ideas that we came up with. First one is Facebook Portal or Google Nest. This system is really simple. It doesn't matter if you're 5 or 85. You literally can go over and call your Google friends or call your Facebook friends. So if you use Google Meet or you use Google as a protocol, or if you're on Facebook watching us live, the Facebook portal allows you to connect with anybody that has Facebook. They don't even have to have a Facebook portal. This camera goes over and auto syncs. It goes over and connects with the people that you're with. It goes over and pans and moves as it goes. We used to do our lives on there a while ago, and it used to be able to adjust. And the cool thing is it got a lot of other features to go over and do. So it gives you more of that home feeling because it actually zooms and pans on ways you go. So it's not just one standard shot like we're doing right now. It's almost like having a studio inside your home where it allows you to be comfortable. It's in a frame, so it's pretty simple and it can be decorative. Photos can be loaded, and it can do several other features too. So love for you to go check that out. It's a very easy gift to go over and to buy and to stay connected. So if you're trying to keep your health up but can't be connected with family physically, a Facebook portal or a Google Nest can go over and help you. The next one is share a meal through the mail, or maybe using Grubhub, Postmates, Uber Eats, whatever your favorite service is, or your favorite local delivery. I'd highly recommend having the same meal together because it gives that more intimate connection. So then you can take your Facebook portal, your Google Nest, maybe it's your laptop, whatever you go over and do, and share that meal together. And especially with the Facebook portal, Google Nest, you can actually sit regularly, like at your table, and actually get to see each other. And again, the camera pans and zooms to adjust. So you can go over and grab your favorite Grubhub meal and maybe find that place that maybe you both have in the separate cities that you're in. Obviously, if it's deployed, it's a little more complicated, but you can also mail your items through the mail. Make sure you give it to your local post office to make sure you're sending it off right. And especially if you're sending it to your military people that are overseas, you want to make sure you check out USPS publication 52 for the country you're sending and the APO. If you need any assistance, please go over and send me a comment in the text. I used to work in the military postal system. But once you learn that and then send it off, recommendation, don't send chocolates. Those don't work well unless you got them on dry ice. But once you get the food there, then you can actually share something together. Because when we share a meal together, we go over and connect together. And if we can't physically connect together, let's go for connect on the common thing that we all have in common 3 times a day, or if you're a super workout person, 6 times a day, which is food. The funny part is we all can eat together no matter where we're at. That's one thing that we share in common. So let's go over and share a meal together. Maybe use Grubhub, maybe use the mail. All right. Number 3, another thing that we share in common is drinks. So why not connect over a virtual latte? This is the time and season to go over and connect. Maybe you grab yourself a hot cocoa or like a chestnut praline drink or your favorite Starbucks or Tully's coffee or whatever version of drinks that you have. Me personally, I'm not a coffee fan, but I will go over and always have a cup of coffee with anybody because it's that natural connection. So same thing, I'd recommend your Facebook portal or your Google Nest, connect with those people with a latte. You feel more relaxed than everything else. Maybe it's an eggnog, maybe it's even a spiked eggnog. I know for us at Podopolo, which is a dynamic interactive podcasting app that which we send our podcast to, they're going over doing a Christmas party. And they're like, hey, let's go over and connect over drinks and food and everything else, and let's try to make it as festive as possible. We're even going to try to do dancing. I think that's crazy. I'm not a dancer unless it's with my wife, but lattes and coffees are a great way to go over and connect. You actually feel more intimate when you're on this type of environment. When you do this type of thing and you actually have your drink in your hand and you see the other person, it's so much more easier. So if you can't go physically connect, maybe do a virtual latte. And the nice part is that a lot of opportunities you can send like people the revenue to then go get their favorite drink, you know, through a Starbucks app or something that particular card. Going on to our next recommendation, a Netflix party. And you're like, what is that? This one I discovered about 6-7 months ago, got refreshed from upworthy.com, I think it is. Let me check out that website real quick. It is upworthy.com/family connecting for holidays. If you'd love to go check out that specific link. A Netflix party is you can just go type in Netflix party, make sure you have Google as your browser, and then you add the API Netflix party. At least one of you has got to have Netflix. So if you're in the debacle of not having Netflix, I can understand, but the thing is, it's a great protocol. What you go over and do is the person that has the account, and then you download the API. The other person has to download the API, so make sure you have Google Chrome as your browser, and basically allows you both to watch a movie at the same exact time using Netflix, and you have a chat bot area in there, so you can connect and go talk. If you ever watch Mystery Science Theater 3000, or if you're in your house and it's always a conversation or whatnot, you can then share those movies with your loved ones from afar to go and do that. Again, it's a very simple go over and install. You just go to your Google store, you install Netflix Party, and then you just go to netflix.com, and then the person that's the host should be a little more geekier than the guest, sends the link to the Netflix Party, and all the person does is click on it. They create themselves a quick username, which is only for that one time only, and then you can just chat away and start the movie. If you don't feel comfortable with the whole chatting and everything else, you can then go over and engage into a phone call. You know, go over and maybe grab your cell phone and have them on video, and then you just do audio chatting while you're going over and watching the same video. This is way more powerful than what we used to do. We used to take a Facebook portal, put it at the projector, then have somebody watching from a distance. It didn't go and work out well. So Netflix Party is really huge to go over and to connect in that particular world, especially if you don't have the next devices that we're talking about. Number five. If you have any suggestions or comments and you are live here, we would love to go over and hear in the comments. If it's your first time on StreamYard, go over and click yourself to authenticate yourself. Number 5, Hasbro e-games on the phone in a portal. What is that? So on your iPhone or your Droid, Hasbro has done a bunch of games. I will name some of them. Let me see if I can find them real quick. Oh, come on. I can't find my games when I look for them. Huh? All right. Let's see. Some of them are Battleship, Clue, Life, Monopoly. Uno is another. those games have built e-games on your iPhones, on your iPods, on your tablets, on your Google tablets, and everything else. You go over and download, and it's either a code that you go over and use, or it's or an account that you go over and create. Each one's a little different, and then you can actually go and play the games. Some of the games go over and allow chat, so you don't need to use the portal, but that's a cool way to go over and do that. You can go play the e-game with the people, and then go over and maybe have that conversation. So if you had your phone here to go over and play the game, and then you had your portal or your Nest, then you could go over and play, and then look back at the person, and then like tell them to go next and everything else, so you don't have to worry about that lag. So it's a great opportunity to go over and connect. My wife was on isolation for 8 days because we thought we had COVID, but really all she had was a cold, those speculations and everything else. So we had to go over and put her in isolation. Actually, no, it was quarantine, I'm sorry, because we didn't know what it was, and then we had to wait. So during those 8 days, to keep that 6-foot distance, we did the Hasbro e-game. She stayed at the edge of the door, I stayed out in the hallway. But especially if you have more of a geographical distance than just the house, grab yourself the portal, grab yourself the Nest, maybe it's Zoom, whatever protocol you want to use. I mean, those are the two that I like best, but you can use what you want. And go over and play one of those Hasbro e-games. Like, who doesn't like to go over and play Clue or Monopoly or the Game of Life? And there's several others. You can go look them up. And you got to look for not for the pass and play option. You want to make sure they have like a Wi-Fi interconnect or multiplayer settings. So the ones I mentioned to you all have multiplayer settings. Battleship uses a code. I think Monopoly has an account. Game of Life has an account, and everything else and whatnot. So you can go over and try that type of option if that works for you. All right, now we're gonna get real techie, but not super techie, especially if you're on Facebook and you like to go over and stay connected. You can buy an Oculus and meet up in VR. I personally think that is going to be the closest you're going to go over and to get to connect with somebody, because the cool part is that you can create your avatar, you can hear their voice in real time, you can go play some amazing games like in Rec Room, or go over and play golf. There's like 2 golf games you can go over and play. There is several others listed once you buy the Oculus, once you download the Oculus app. I'm going to see if I can find a couple for you real quick. Always trying to find things on the fly and live, and it just doesn't work. There we go. So if you go to your Oculus app, go over and open it up. Once you do that, you can download it for free while perusing and seeing if an Oculus for you. You can go over and do that. Like some of the games you can meet it is big screen VR beta, that you can go watch a movie with the person, feel like you're sitting in an 80-foot screen movie theater. You can either import the videos if you have a server, or you can go over and pay for a ticket. They play about 3 videos a week. They do some special events. What's the other app that you can go connect? You can connect in Orbis VR Reborn. That's a multiplayer game. What else? Poker Star VR. So if you like playing poker, you can connect over there. Wands, that's a little harder to connect with. Let me see what else I'm trying to see. Alcove is another app. You can play like chess, you can play checkers, and different types of things. Those are the ones that I can least list off right now, and there is probably several others, but I'm not having listed. Rec Room is another. One of my friends are in there right now. So if you go over and do that, then you can connect with us if you want to. Me and my wife both have an Oculus, so if you connected on our Facebook, you can connect that way. That is the con with it. If you're not a Facebook fan and you're protective of your information, you're eventually going to have to connect to their Facebook world. But there's other apps that have multi-source, like Big Screen VR plays in Windows Mixed VR Reality and some other VR headsets, so you can connect in that particular way. So it's really fun, really worthwhile, really low cost. $299 for the basic headset, $399 for one. I know that could be a lot of money depending on where you're at, but to connect with somebody on a regular basis and have those types of things, and it's very easy to go over and use, it's pretty great. And it's a way to unplug too. So if you are not, you can't connect with the family that way because they're not tech savvy, then maybe the times when you need to unconnect so you can be a better father, mother, son, or daughter. Going from there, number 7, write a letter each day for the 12 days of Christmas. That is an art that we've gone over and lost. We used to do Christmas cards once a year, way back in the day, to give people family updates. Why not go over and leverage the time that we have, and especially in winter, just the nights, just forever to end sometimes. Why not go over and think of that loved person that you want to go over and do and write a letter each day? And you're probably saying to yourself, I haven't used a pen or a pencil in forever except for quick notes. Maybe you can break out and do some cursive and go over and write it and then mail it off. If that's too complicated for you, there is websites that you can go over and say, mail my letter and go over and do that. My wife's used that. It's about $3, but you can write a letter as long as you want. And the reason why it's $3 is because they do all the work for you, or you could just get the 50-cent stamp and mail it off. But write a letter each day. It might be $36 compared to, I don't know, 50 times 12, $6. But if you really don't want to get into that post office and all those other people, you can actually just go online, type what you want. If you don't like using pen, paper, cursive, and printing, or your writing's atrocious, you can go type out the letter, spell check it all you want, and then just put your address, their address, and pay your $3. Gone. Goes out the next day and 7 to 10 days later. And it might go over and brighten up your family's spirit, but handwritten letters goes over and brightens people's spirits more than anything else because they knew they took the time and the effort. So showing your love to your family from afar might be having writing a letter each day for the 12 days of Christmas. It'd be cool starting off with the 13th and then people are getting regular letters because what do we normally get? Bills, ads, and I understand people need to market and people need to be paid, but wouldn't it be nice for your relative or yourself to go over and see that? Or maybe you're deployed airman, marine, sergeant, whatever. Or if you're deployed and maybe your family is on the back end going over and doing all the work behind, that'd be something that maybe your spouse and your kids would love to go over and see as a handwritten letter from mom and dad. So it can be either side. Number 8, tell stories over the Facebook portal. Kid stories. I don't know about the Google Nest that much, so I can't go talk about it, but it's really cool. Let's say you're deployed and you bought yourself a Facebook portal, or you're away on a TDY and whatnot. Again, Facebook portals, like they go pretty cheap. I think they're ranging from like 75 to 150 depending on the model you get. Some of them have it integrated in TV, but they have this cool option about stories. And if you click stories on there, there's probably about a dozen or so, and they continually update it and stuff like that. And basically, you on the Facebook portal side become part of the story. So they're really fun, interesting stories that can be broadcast live to someone else that has Facebook. So I literally send it over to my wife, and then the kids go over and watch. Yes, I'm in the house, but it might be a little bit of delay, but they'll go over and see it. So you read the lines, it animates you in these different characters. You can then make your own voices all you want. Your head gets imported into a body typically, or the sun, or them things. It's really funny, especially when you watch it afterwards. You're like, it's a memory that you can have for a lifetime to go over and brighten up people. Even old adults are laughing at these things in these Facebook forum stories. So I would go recommend it. If Google Nest has one, try it too. I don't know if it does, but I think that'd be great to go over and connect, especially if you're a deployed husband or wife that you can't go over and see the kids, or maybe the kids want to send the story to there and it can go grow their reading skills at the same time. So several different ways to go and connect. Number 9, we're almost through. Thank you for going over and staying on. It's only 6 of 6. So bring your love. What? I wrote that massively wrong. Woo! What about live? It was supposed to be bring your loved ones with you to a light show that you go to. So let me explain it because I wrote this horrible. It's basically some of us in each part of the areas have like drive-through light shows, or maybe the houses in the neighborhood are lit up and whatnot. And you're saying like, I just need to get out. This COVID environment is stressing me out. Let me go look at some lights. So I go drive over to, let's say there's some light shows in Washington, maybe some light shows in your state or area, and that's COVID safe. But guess what? Your family didn't come down to go over and visit you. You could go over and say, jump on your Facebook and connect with somebody video, or maybe plan it out through a Zoom or whatever it is, and you just turn it on and then you just stream what you're watching. So if you're in the light show and you're driving through, maybe you go over and you don't drive, have someone else drive, and you go tape the thing and show the lights. Or if you're doing a walkthrough display of lights through the neighborhood, you can go show those lights, and then you can talk back and forth and see what their thoughts are. So that might be another way to go and do that. So please forgive me for botching that sentence, but the goal is you can bring your loved ones, I'm even botching my words today, loved ones with you to those light shows or maybe those light displays that you see across your local area, and then show them live at that particular place. So maybe it feels at least you're a little closer if you're geographically separated. And last one, and it's certainly never not the least, and we have a quick announcement for any of you that are military or know any military overseas, is number 10, send them something snuggly to remember you by. A lot of people are probably missing physical touch. I know for my wife, when I was deployed, that was something that was regular for her. So I left my mink blankie for her to snuggle with so she could remember me. So maybe, especially for younger kids, maybe there's something that you could give them before you go, or maybe you're deployed and you find something, like I usually found stuffed animals or whatever, different things, and I would send them home to my kids or to my wife to remember me, to have something to snuggle with. Because especially for kids that are physical touch, and all my kids love physical touch, I'm the only one in the house that doesn't like it, it's just the way I'm wired, but that's a different story, a different day, is that could go bring some connection back, especially when you can't be connected. Especially if grandparents can't go connect with grandkids, or kids can't get connected with kids, or hey, you're deployed and you want your kids to have a good memory of you, you can go over and do that. You can even get special bears and special things that record your voice to make it a little more homely, to make it a little more comfortable, to make it a little more family and comfortable and everything else. So that is it on our suggestions, and we'd love to hear your comments either in live or the replay. But our announcement for you guys, because I just found this out today, and it was on upworthy.com, is Google is providing Nest Hubs to USO families. So if you are in the military or you're connected to a military person, I would definitely go over and suggest you go to uso.org/Google Nest. I don't think they give the exact dot on the website. Give me a second. Nope, they did not give the exact dot. So I would just start with that, or go to upworthy.com/family-connecting for holidays. So, but they are going over and doing that. So the USO is doing that this season, which is a huge blessing in that particular regard. I mean, some of the things that USO does fantastic, but this is the one I would say that totally takes the cake that they're going over. And Google is providing Nest Hubs to USO families. So why not go over and partner with the USO and go connect? And if your family is deployed or a loved one is going over and deployed, hey, they can go over and potentially get a Nest Hub, so then they can go over and communicate through on the entire time, because more and more sites of deployment are getting regular Wi-Fi and better connection. So at least they can stay connected through the holiday season, because I know for myself, being a military person, I deployed 4 times. The Christmas season is usually the roughest, and especially with COVID, it's going to be rough on both ends. So let's go over and take advantage of this announcement and go over and connect, or send this link to your friends if you see this, especially in the next, well, we got about 15 days to Christmas, but anytime specifically. But this one, I would definitely send this link out now. I think I'm going to post that on my Facebook wall later tomorrow. So that is pretty much it. So we want to thank you for all of joining, either on Facebook or YouTube or on Periscope or even on Twitch. I want to thank you all for going over and joining. Our superhero challenge for the week is this, and the day is share what you're applying from our holiday struggle series. I would love to go over and hear, is this fruitful for you? Did you go over and learn something? Did you go over and trigger something else that you wanted to go over and apply, so you're not staying in the holiday struggle? And if you're staying in the holiday struggle, especially in the boardroom, we'd love to go over and connect with you. We give 20 minutes free to every single military veteran and first responder first time. So don't go over and wait. We put this time for you. That's the whole reason I go over and do this. This is the reason why. When you see our sponsors at the end and who we're working with, it is for you, for the veterans, and also the first responders. That is our 2 main goals. Our 2 main goals is to support 3 types of people: military, veterans, and first responders, and their families. That is our heart and our goal. So we'd love for you to go over and to interact, either on here, or as we go over and reboot into the new year on our show getting rebooted, War Hero Superhero Season 2, going over and starting that in 2021. So we want to thank you all for joining, and we also want to give tribute to our sponsors. And if you want to go over and join our mission, we'd love for you to connect. So this little ad plus link can go over and help you connect with us. Thanks. You guys have a great week.
Millions of men and women have served this great country. However, over 40,000 veterans sleep on the streets every night. 20 veterans commit suicide on any given day. Veterans have been left without medical services while they suffer from mental illness and addiction. They are dying alone. Join Armory Dog and the Veterans Project to help serve this forgotten community of heroes. Veterans is a place for our men and women who have served our great country, giving them a place to stay and rehabilitate in a safe and positive environment. Please help support the Veterans Project so that these men and women can get back on their feet and find their purpose for living. The Veterans Project will house 10,000 veterans, getting them off the streets, back into society, and utilizing their skills as they once used to serve our great country. Veterans Not Forgotten.